Hi, I'm Eliza Taylor.
Daniel Webber.
I'm Grant Harvey.
And I'm Jordan Ross.
And we're excited to talk to you about our new film, Thumper.
Just out of Tribeca now. We had our premiere last night.
We went hard last night afterwards, too. So we feel great right now.
And we're ready to answer your questions, basically.
Yes, any questions, bring them our way.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, how was the premiere Thumper at Tribeca last night?
How was it?
It was my first time seeing the movie, so I was kind of overwhelmed. We shot it a year ago, right? So it was a long time coming seeing this screening, and I was really happy with what we did.
Was that your first time seeing it too?
Yeah,
Daniel?
first time seeing it. It was just cool to see the feedback from the audience and hearing. Like we were talking about the laughs that happened in the film, which you know,
there were laughs at times when you didn't expect a laugh.
Yeah, and the subject matter is such a a gritty sort of film, and so it's so nice to hear the audience feedback with the laughter, which when you're reading the script. I mean, I didn't see it that people just bring to it on the day.
Yeah,
it was quite cool.
It was cool.
But should we talk about who did we all play? So
yeah.
You want to talk about your character?
Yeah.
I play Troy. I'm Pablo Schreiber's cousin in the movie, and I'm a drug dealer, basically. And I'm kind of the life of the party in the movie.
I'd agree with that. I play Kat Carter, who is a teenager, or maybe not. I don't know how to preface it.
New girl in town.
Yeah, new girl in town.
New girl in school.
Yeah, there's lots of secrets.
Yeah.
New girl in town in this drug-riddled town.
We talked about this earlier, and I just.
I wrote and directed the movie, and then Daniel.
So I play a character called Beaver, who's a very low economic group, and he's sort of he's a young kid just trying to find his way out and find, a better life for himself. And it's just so happens that he, gets involved in the world of drugs.
And the whole movie is kind of like that. It's a lot of people who are just a product of their environment, and they're born into a world. And when you're born into a certain world, that's where you're at, and there's really no getting out, and you just deal with it, and you become the person you are because of that. And so all of us are kind of dealing with that. And then Kat's the new girl. She shows up into our world, and it goes from there.
I found really cool about watching what you guys did when I wasn't there. Like watching how you, like your relationship with your little brother, and like just the way that you guys interacted in the car, like together, just shooting the shit. I thought it was very real and cool. I just wanted to say that.
It's cool to see the other performances that you don't see when you're on set.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Right. So what's a memorable experience? This is another question. Experience from filming, guys.
I pulled my penis out.
You did too.
Yeah, I pulled my penis out. And it didn't make the cut,
no.
Unfortunately. But we were doing
forgot about that. Yeah.
There's this great party scene in the movie, and we just kept doing take after take after take, and we were trying to get responses from all the actors.
It was kind of like a real party, though.
It was like a real party. Yeah, we were really
through like a
little house party.
Little house party.
Yeah.
And
filmed it.
It was on their coverage, and I wanted to throw them a curveball, so I pulled my penis out and I chased them with it.
It was a good curveball.
It was.
That definitely was a memorable experience.
Mainly just Daniel. I chased Daniel.
What about you guys? Anything that stuck out that?
Long takes. Actually, there was a memorable. Like I remember having a very long take. It was like
our
one.
Day, or?
Yeah, our first day too. Like we were doing it over and over in different ways.
That was the first day of the production.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we had a pretty intimate scene the first day.
Yeah, we did. Jesus.
But I remember, I remember from that first day is the neighbor at the house we were filming at didn't want us to be there, and so they let that big dog out in the front yard.
Yeah.
They kept barking. And I was like, what are we going to do about this? Do we just ignore the dog, or
film it?
We film the dog barking at you.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was a really cool moment, actually. It was like walking past the house, and it was savage.
Constantly barking at you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole movie was fun to shoot.
It was.
It was, because we were really living in our roles and
Yeah,
being
and
in that
Jordan
world.
definitely gave us kind of a lot of freedom to workshop and explore our characters, which doesn't happen often. So.
Yeah, kind of gives you like a real sense of control and play and creativity.
Confidence in your character.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Great,
like
yeah.
you don't. It's like, I don't know, like painting an artwork. You've got such control on that medium. Normally in filmmaking, as an actor, you don't so much. You sort of have your script, you have your lines, and you do it. Whereas we were all like, there was this like real striving to try and find it.
We were all.
Like, it
we
wasn't,
knew it was
like,
okay
nobody
to
had
make
answers.
mistakes.
It
We
was
could
all
make
like just
yeah.
trying things the whole time.
We could make mistakes. We could just feel comfortable in doing the wrong thing, and in doing that, we got a lot of good stuff. And being comfortable, willing to just do whatever came to you, and then Jordan captured that and got a lot of authentic stuff.
It was a wonderfully collaborative, creative space to be in. Yeah.
That was important, though. I think it was more important for you to kind of, be your character, all you guys, than stick like word for word to the script.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I just remember you like constantly saying, I just don't want to, I don't want to hear my words. Like, just
Yeah,
say
just
something,
go for it.
else. Just try something else.
Yeah.
Like,
Keep it real.
What do you want me to? What should I say?
Well, that's
like,
the
just
funny thing.
try something.
When I sat down with Jordan before we shot, he was like, I cut all your lines out of the script because I needed to make 90 pages. And he was like, I just want you to just live in the role, and pretty much anything that comes out of your mouth or anything you do, that's Troy. So just live in Troy, be Troy, and that's what's going to go in the movie. Just live in it. And it worked out.
Yeah, I mean, most of your stuff is ad-libbed, or a lot of it.
Yeah,
Actually,
90%.
Yeah,
I'd
yeah,
say.
it's
A
crazy.
lot.
Yeah. And that's what he just told me to do. He just go nuts.
Yeah.
Every single scene, just go nuts. And just live in it.
First table read, like you was like, it was like big good little actors reading out scripts, kind of going through it.
Yeah, that's
and then
actually. This guy turns up.
Yeah.
He's just like, what's up?
just yelling things at us across the table, like, whoa, what are we in for? This is gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I had to offset the movie. There's a lot of intensity, especially with Pablo and Daniel and Eliza and Lena, and so I just knew that I had to be the life of the party, and just people need to breathe, and so I kind of give that release in the movie.
Comic relief.
Yeah, comic relief. I guess so. Yeah, something like that.
Should we go another one, guys?
Oh, yeah, we have actual questions here. Katie asks, is this your first time at Tribeca for each of you?
Yes.
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 Oh, there you
It
go.
is.
Yeah. Actually, it's
Short answer,
your
yes.
first film.
Yeah, my first feature film, yeah.
Your first feature film. It's my first film in America,
Me too.
and it's your first film in America.
My first
I don't know
lead,
about you,
yeah.
though.
It's like my 12th indie, but I think people will hear about this one, so. Yeah.
Greetings from Poland.
Yeah.
Can't wait to watch the film. Thank you,
Thank you.
Piotr.
Get out here.
Oh.
You have
There you go.
4 more screenings.
Yeah.
Kelly asks, what was the most difficult scene to film in Thumper?
Without giving too much away, what do you think?
There was a certain scene in a bathroom that I just that was a day.
Oh, yeah.
That was a day.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
It's a
We have some
Especially
pretty
for you.
intense scenes.
yeah.
Yeah,
And,
yeah, there were
very
a lot
protracted
actually.
scenes. The
Yeah.
scenes, especially the one we were talking about very cryptically, is like a 7, 8-page, 10-page scene. It's a big scene.
And in such a small
lot
space.
happens in that
Yeah.
time. Like,
With like 4 of us.
But even filming, like, in the actual, like, real locations we were filming, some of them, I remember when we walked into, like, Wyatt's house, it was pretty intense, and
Yeah,
it wasn't the best neighborhood, and I remember just thinking this will be a long day.
and there was like the effort from Jordan and the team to try and find locations that were really authentic to the poor people, like the group that we were talking about, the social group that we were talking about. And so, for example, like he was just saying about Wyatt's place. It was this really horrible, like filthy place, and so like as soon as you walked in there, you smelt it and you felt kind of gross, and you just wanted to get out of there.
You certainly, you were put in character quite quickly.
Yeah.
In the spaces
I
that
think
we
it
shot
helped,
in.
though.
Yeah, definitely.
It was great.
And that's kind of like I think I was just kind of like throwing that for difficulty, because it's not glamorous acting. It's not studio acting. Like, you're not in
Right.
this pristine set. But it's
No, there's nothing glamorous about this movie.
It was, but it really fed the story that we were trying to tell, and like give voice to this group of people that we're representing.
Yeah.
You know?
And we weren't just you know, representing these people, we were kind of honoring,
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
these people. We
Totally
weren't
agree with
playing down to them. We were being these people, because I grew up around, you know, guys who've had it harder, and I'm sure we all have. And so we weren't trying to play down to their living environment. We were trying to show people that that is a reality, and you know, we tried to bring dignity
And
to
people
it.
are doing the best that they can with what they have.
There's people on set that, like, from the local areas that would come up to us and like thank us for telling their story, because they're such an unrepresented sort of voice in America. And they like, do you remember that? It was
Yeah, I mean, we incorporated some of the people in the movie.
It was, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
It was. Oh, okay.
Steve.
Says, was there anything left on the edit floor you wish was included in the film? Oh boy.
Oh my goodness.
Oh boy. Where do I start?
Yeah, that's for you.
My penis.
Yeah. No, I'm happy we cut that out.
Obviously.
Let's see. The first cut of the movie. The first cut was about 3 hours long. And that was with every single scene in the movie that we filmed, like, laid out in script order. So with the final running time being like just over an hour and a half, yeah, there's a ton we cut out. You just don't have time for it all, and you just try to make the most coherent story with like what you have. So yeah.
What do they say? They feel like getting rid of your darlings. Or
Yeah.
That is
It's always
your
interesting
favorite
as an actor too. You watch the movie and you know what you did, and then you see what's up there. And in this case,
But no one else knows what you did. I mean,
right? Yeah, you don't. No one else knows what's not up there, but it's always interesting to see what ends up on the screen, because you have your favorites in your head and what you know what you did, and sometimes it's much better than what you imagined, and sometimes it's not. But in this case, it was better for sure than what I imagined.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Guys, keep asking questions, but this one is for Grant.
Grant, if you were ad-libbing a lot of your character, how did you ensure you were portraying your character authentically? Well, I think the answer to that question is in the question. It was authentic because it was just coming out of me. I just committed to Troy, and I understood him, and I kind of just was playing him. So anything that came out of me was authentic because I was reacting to the people in my world and my situation, and so whatever I did or said was authentic. It came from a real place. And I changed my physical appearance. Yeah, I mean, my hair's bleached blonde, and you know, I shaved my eyebrow a little bit.
You're doing the Adidas.
And you know, yeah.
Like wife beater look.
Yeah, and I had a physicality and things like that, and so I did all that to help me be Troy, and then when we're doing the scenes, you know, it was all authentic because it was real, and it was up to him to choose what to put in the movie.
Marilyn asks, what is this crime drama about? Who are you representing?
Well, I think we're representing poor America, a lot of it, and the epidemic of methamphetamines in America, and you know, it's a worldwide issue, but that's a big part of the story of people who are being forced into it because they have no other options, and that's in their minds the only way they can make a livelihood and sort of make ends meet. So,
but it also poses like the moral question, like if you're selling drugs or involved with it for, you know, reasons to support your family, but it's, you know, is a danger to the community, where's that moral ambiguity lie? Like if you need it, if it's a necessity. So yeah, I think there's a lot of those questions also throughout.
And yeah, it's character driven for sure, this movie. It's like an ensemble. There's a lot of people, and they're all dealing with their own issues in the confines of this social situation, and yeah, and they're all just trying to do the best they can, and sometimes the best they can ends up being against the law or morally ambiguous.
That's what I like watching it last night for the first time. As I said, that's what I loved so much, was that I got to. I felt for every single one of these characters. I cared about every single one of these characters, you know, and that's rare in a film where you're like, God, I see his point of view. Even though he's like a dick in this scene, I get it. You know,
Right.
like that was. I'm so glad that came through. That was a joy to watch.
And there's no
last
real
night.
clear-cut bad guy.
No, there's not, because
Yeah.
you totally get it. You're like, you're just
I
hustling.
mean,
man.
Pablo
Like,
is scary in it, but you
Yeah.
understand where he's coming from, and he's
Yeah.
trying to take care of his family, and so he has to be that way.
That's right.
Yeah.
Good. Guys, next question.
What did you
Grant,
like
in your
about
case,
the
what drew you
script?
to Troy?
What did you like about the script? In your case, what did you like about Troy?
What I liked about Troy is, well, when I got the script, I started reading it on my phone, and I was about to get in the shower, and before I knew it, I was standing, well, I'm about to be naked again. I keep talking, I don't mean to, all right. But yeah, I'm standing in my kitchen naked, reading the script, and I'm like 45 pages in, and so it was just great. I was just pulled into the story, and with Troy, when I auditioned, they just had me doing the most ridiculous shit in my audition, and just they kept having me go bigger and ad-lib more and ad-lib more, and then when I sat down with Jordan and he told me, he's like, I just want you to just live and ad-lib. That's what I loved about it. I could totally inhabit Troy, and it was up to me, and I wanted to do things, and when I sat down with Jordan, he improved on those things. He wanted me to go bigger with him. You know, he was like, do you mind bleaching your hair? And I was like, absolutely, let's do that. And I liked that he was the life of the party. I liked being the levity of the movie. I don't get to often do that, so that was enjoyable for me. I got to be loose and happy-go-lucky, and yeah. So I hope that answered your question.
I loved it because of what you said early on about it being just this very real story about these very real people. Knowing that like the story that we were telling wasn't going to be a glib, because it could have been a very glib sort of, you know, look at this world, but it wasn't. It's a very powerful and compelling characters that we get to watch on the screen and sort of the events unfolding. But it was just the authenticity that we were sort of like, we're really trying to represent these people and their lives, and you know.
And to interject, I gotta say, Daniel, he really breaks your heart in the movie. And
Yeah, he does.
My favorite scene in the movie is when you're with your brother. I won't give anything away, but you're with your brother, and every time I've seen it, it's brought tears to my eyes. So you really, have a heartfelt performance,
Yeah, very much so.
Daniel.
Manny asks, what research did you do for your characters? What did you learn about this crisis in America? Well, I shot documentaries for almost a decade, so and they weren't always in the best parts of town. In fact, they were usually in not so great areas. So I think that's research alone, because when you're doing a documentary on someone, like you walk into their house, wherever they live, and within 5 minutes of filming them, they're telling you their deepest, darkest secrets that they don't even tell their husbands or wives or kids or family. So I think just learning about people, for me, I think that was it.
I grew up with a lot of these guys.
Me too. Yeah.
And they're still doing their thing. And I knew Troy in so many ways. I'm Jay Kimmons, Ziggy, Nate Garrison, and that's why I took it very seriously, and I wanted to be a real character, and I wanted to bring dignity to it, because these are real people, and if you understand their struggles and their situations, you become better for it, and they become less distant to everybody else. So it was yeah, that's it. It's just, I don't know what the question was exactly, but it's gone. But I know I was on it somewhere.
I'd agree. I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
But also
the research thing. Yeah, that's growing up around these guys. You grew up around, yeah.
I think we've all been sort of touched in our lives, all personally, individually, by someone who has struggled with drugs, and it's heartbreaking and real, and it's, you know, I have personal experience with I've lost friends. We've all lost friends to it, and I think that's like something that we wanted to honor and take very seriously.
Yeah, let's face it, drugs are a fucked up thing in America right now. So,
yeah.
it's serious.
Yeah.
So to make a movie about it, you got a lot to pull from.
All right, we got another
Correct,
one.
yeah.
So Lulu's asking Eliza, Daniel, with this being your first American film, what perspective did you think your background brought to your characters?
That's a good question.
That is a very
That
good
is a
question.
good question. Yeah.
I think when we, I mean, you and I first auditioned for this film almost over a year before we made it, right? It was
Something like that. Yeah.
It was, yeah, like, and we'd had a couple of conversations about this, and I think you did have trepidation, if I may say, about an Australian doing such a topical thing in America.
No.
You did.
No, because here's the thing. I'm being honest. I knew little to nothing about Eliza before seeing her audition, and I remember thinking, "This is such a just breath of fresh air." Your audition was.
Nice.
I'm being serious. It was heads above all the others, where it was like, it just had so much depth and gravity, and I thought, you know, not being familiar with your previous work, like, who is this? Yes, the heart. But I'm being serious. So
Yeah, no, I guess it was more like, I think you were just curious to see what I could possibly like add to from personal experience.
yeah.
And I don't know about Dan. Like, did you?
A background? I don't know, like, what background, what that helped. I mean, I feel like I'm an actor first and foremost, and so, like, every role is a process of learning about the characters and the world that we're in. I think the thing that, like, for me, I was, like, brought to it was the relationship with my brother. I have friends who, without giving anything away, who are in similar situations, and so, I don't know, just growing up with that informs you a lot about, you know, who you're playing, what you're doing, how they feel about, you know, their family and their environment, and you know, trying to get out.
Did you guys
of it.
like fully immerse yourselves in the role too? You especially like went down to the area we were filming.
Yeah.
Kept a diary in character.
Yeah.
And I remember when you walked into the audition and you like knocked it out of the park. I thought you'd already been cast,
I know we did a chemistry read together.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
and I thought, okay, two
yeah.
Australians playing two leads, which
Yeah, it
just
was-
go with the best actors. Yeah. So I think you guys get all the credit for that of just really committing to the role.
Yeah, we had fun. I remember like, we sat on the back porch and.
I've never studied so hard.
And
You
went
kept
through
me
the lines
accountable. You
over and
really made
over
me
and-
study too. Like you were like, "Oh, hey, we're script work today," and I'm like, "We'll be fine." He's like, "No, we're doing it." You come
but
over
then-
to
but
my
you-
place in
but
LA and like we just
I remember,
like, go through everything.
no, but I was like, shit, man. Like you guys are going out all the time. You're like, what are you up to, Eliza? And you're like, I'm going out with Jordan doing a recce as scout and like walking through the streets of
That's
Wilmington.
right. We did do a lot of
We took a
scouting,
camera out. We walked through the
Yeah.
streets.
So I was like, I feel like I'm behind the eight ball. I need to catch up with you guys.
Yeah, but I think that helped going down to the neighborhood early.
It did.
With Doug and the camera and just kind of walking around and
That's all we did. We just shot me walking.
walking
through
in
the
character,
streets.
walking
In character with my backpack. Yeah.
with your
Did it
back.
help you?
It did.
As far
It
as-
really did. I mean, it's one thing that you know I kind of learnt from working with you, and you introduced me to my acting coach, Caitlin, for the movie, and she was like, "You don't walk like Kat. I need you to walk like Kat." And I was like, "How does Kat walk?" And she was like, "Not pretty. She doesn't walk pretty." And I was like, "Okay." So I actually thought about how I was going to change my physicality
That's cool.
for Kat,
Yeah.
and thank God we did like 2 days of just filming me
walking.
walking. I got to
It was
like
beautiful
perfect
walking.
it wasn't particularly bad. Yeah.
End of the film.
Anyway,
that walk.
that's not the most interesting story, but we did that.
Lisa Higgins.
Lisa Higgins.
Looking forward to seeing this film. Thanks, Lisa. The film looks like an emotional roller coaster. How do you manage keeping the intensity of emotion through principal photography?
That's a good question.
I think it comes back to the work that you do prior to shooting. We all go home and do our homework and figure out who these people are and what their stories are and why we want to be telling their stories. Like it's be something that is real for you. You got to need to tell this story. But then also it's just what you're getting on the day.
Yeah.
People feed impulses.
Yeah.
Something that either of these guys will do will take the scene in a different direction and take the emotion in a different direction. and we'll just keep it's like a process that keeps going and growing.
And you get into a routine with it, so that the kind of emotion or whatever character you have, it sticks with you, and you just push through for the whole shoot, and it's really easy to stay in it once you're locked in, you know. It's when you're done with the movie that you have to get it out of your system and kind of walk away from it.
Meditation,
And
that's the key.
You know, yeah.
But did it help putting you in like real situations, like
You
during
never
the party
got me to
scene?
meditate. That's where I drew the line. I was like, I can't.
Like during the party scene, you try to make it feel like a real party.
Yeah.
Like, there's like, there was like a little birthday party scene we filmed too.
Yeah.
And there are a bunch of kids running around, and you just kind of maybe don't yell action. You just roll the camera and you let everyone else, see what you can get. Let everyone else do their thing while you're just in the scene.
Yeah.
Last question.
All right.
Marilyn.
How did you decide where to film? And as actors, how did the environment play to the development of your characters and your roles?
That's a good question. That's a good last question.
Very good.
I'll take the first part, and then you guys can obviously talk about the actor part. I looked at a lot of places, from places in Canada to places in California, and ultimately we decided to shoot in a place in Southern California because it just felt right. It just felt like this was a part of town that had been like forgotten about. It was very industrial.
It was.
Had smokestacks in the back of people's houses. So I think when you got there or driving around, it just felt like this sort of like lost, forgotten about little piece of the world, even though it's not really like central to the story in terms of specifically where it is.
That's what I like about it.
Yeah.
That we're not specifying. Like it's just, it looks great as a backdrop, but you're not quite sure where we're.
That was some of your direction right there. You put us in this world, and it's a lot easier to act when you could smell it, you feel it, and you're surrounded by it. You see chickens in the yard across the street.
And the heat, like we're shooting
in the middle of the summer.
It was so hot.
Yeah, and you hardly have to act.
It's all concrete and steel, so it's all reflected back up at you, and so that just adds a whole other energy for the acting. And I don't know. I went there by myself originally to just sort of similar to you guys, just do like a recce and see what we're up for and I remember being genuinely scared being there. Like feeling like I might get in trouble with people here. There was a high crime area. I saw like
we didn't know you went by yourself.
I saw 3 arrests in about 2 hours. I had people like swearing at me on the street. I got asked if I wanted to buy drugs, like all in a really short space of time. So like that just tells you so much as an actor. You're like, all right, so this is your world, and sort of survive that world essentially. So
for all of that though, I found that that there was the most heart. There was so much heart in that area.
Yeah.
People would like, they just wanted to give you like the world, anything. What are you like? Hey honey, do you want to come into my house and have a cup of tea? Like the neighbors from like the houses we were shooting at. I was like, that's so nice. Like,
I imagine many people don't film down there, and they were just happy.
They could have been really unhappy about us filming, but they were just so welcoming, and I was like, man, these people, they're cool.
That's true. Eliza, would you like to?
So we're being prompted. Thanks for joining us here and asking your questions. Be sure to check out Thumper at Tribeca Film Festival and tell us what you think.
Thank you guys for having us.
Thanks.
No, thank you, seriously.
Thanks, guys.